How sexy is that? Let's soak it in for a minute. I looked up the serial number on this one, and it says it's from 70 to 75. It's a genuine Gibson Les Paul Custom in black. And it's got all the feels. Boy, it is a cool looking guitar. But I don't think this one has been serviced in a while, and it could really use it. Some things I've been noticing when I'm playing it, it's real tough to play. The action's real high, and you might even actually see it on the camera. The neck has a little bit of an underbow. Just might be my lens kind of skewing it, but I can see it with my naked eye that it is bowing a little bit underneath. It's got all set up, 3-way switch. Les Paul should. I don't know if that one's original. I would think that's original. Maybe that's a replacement, or the cover was taken off. I'm not sure. But we'll get into it. Maybe I'll be able to get a better date off of it once I get into the pots. So we'll be able to see what's under there. It needs to be gone through. I'm sure intonation. The second major problem here, we'll look right down here at the, if you see how far that saddle is bending forward. We're going to have to fix that. It's just way too high. It should be a little bit lower. And I think it's up that high because the neck is so bowed. So I think once we get that a little more under control, be able to lower it a little bit. But other than that, I'm not sure if this is original paint or if it was repainted, but we can go to side 2, because it's a bitch. So yeah, that is pretty worn. It's got all that right rash where you should have it. The back is super rough, but it's not as smooth as the front. It's got Grovers on it. Just really cool guitar overall. Glad to have it here. Super heavy, just like it should be. So, anyway, let's get you set up, and we're going to start going through it. Alright, I want to get a baseline of what this sounds like before I get into it. There's my bench amp, that's at 5. Cranking everything. So that's what it sounds like. Another cool thing I'm noticing, it's got a brass nut. That's kind of cool. Alright. So we know what it sounds like. Really not too much bad with it. We'll have a look at that switch, and we'll have a look at the pots too. So I guess first thing, let's get rid of the strings. Doesn't have the retainer, and the saddle just like fell right out. That's okay. Be able to get a nice clean of that. Filthy. Looks pretty straight. This one right here. The other one looks super bent. Let's get it out, see what it looks like. Let's see how bent that thing is. See, I'm really wondering if we should install the thicker mounts for the saddle here, with the more modern mounts, but it's not my guitar, and I don't want to do that to this guitar. I want to keep this as original as possible. I don't want to devalue it in any way by screwing something up. I'm going to do some research on these posts and see if I can find newer ones. These are just so bent. There's really nothing you can do with them. I can get them back, and we can work with it. But do you want a bent saddle? What's that going to do for you, you know? So, yeah. Alright, let me do some research on this. We're going to decide which way to go on the bridge here, so put that aside for later. Let's pull off this plate and have a look in there. Ooh, look at that filthiness. Try if I can see any info on the pots. Give a date. I can see they're so oxidized it's tough to even see any digits on there. But I am seeing something here. Pots over here say 1970. How cool is that? Alright. Cooking with gas now. The oxidation on this switch is crazy. Alright, time to look at the truss rod. It is actually pretty racked. It's not really straight. I'll loosen it to start with. Looks like there might be way too much tension on there. That's okay. I'm gonna let that sit for a while. And that was a half turn, no, a quarter turn past tight. When it got tight, I went a quarter turn past. did straighten it a little bit, but there is a bow that goes, it actually dips up. So the low E string here is pulling up, where the bottom of the neck is pretty straight. So, let's see what we can do about that. Alright, I want to start checking the frets. There's a lot of wear on them. They're the jumbo frets. Alright, a couple spots here right down the neck. So, getting out the tape. So I got that taped off the fretboard, and that protects it from getting any gouges in the wood. But I also always like to tape off pickups. There's there's magnets in your pickups, which make the pickup, and some people say that the frets aren't magnetic. I can tell you these are magnetic. I can put a magnet to it. You can feel that pull. It's not much. This is a super strong magnet, pulling a little bit harder, but still, there's some magnetism there. If that was to get into one of these, you could create a short, and a magnet's going to want to pull those filings right in. And since I am going to be making some filings here from the top of the frets, even minuscule, it could still magnet itself in there. Even if your frets aren't magnetic, and you get little burrs from, say, your steel wool, you're using steel wool to shine these up or something, any little piece of shavings, filings that you get off the steel wool or off the frets, even if it's not magnetic and it goes into the pickup at some point, could create a short. Your pickup is a winding, and it needs to go all the way through there. If it's not going all the way through and it's making a short somewhere, that's not going to be good for your pickup either. And since I'm in this area, there's a switch here. I'll tape that off too, just so we don't get any filings inside of there. These are filthy. Look how dirty this is. That's like the dirtiest. These are the dirtiest frets I've ever polished.
spent the last couple days massaging this neck out, and it's a little straighter than it started. Before, I mean, it looked like a Hot Wheels ramp up here at the end, curved up. It's pretty much straight here. It's got a little curve up here where it curves up. The long-term fix for that, I've read, is to take the fretboard off, shave the neck flatter, and then put your fretboard back on. That's beyond my skill set and my tools at this point, so we're going to live with it. The neck doesn't know it's twisted. I think it's going to be fine. It's a lot better than it was, but I'll readjust the truss rod once I get the strings on. But I want to turn my attention to the saddle. The original saddle screws, if you remember, they were bent and the saddle was falling forward. There really wasn't much meat in there. There was about a 1/2 inch into the body, right? And it just wasn't enough, and it was obviously fell forward. So those are 1 inch long. If you went to the jungle site there and got yourself an aftermarket saddle, you're going to get a screw that's about 3/4 of an inch. So that's out of the question. I have a finish nail here. When I put that all the way down, I can see that it ends up being 1 inch and 3/16. So if the original is 1 inch, it's not going in there all the way. And if it's not making contact with, the sides of the body and the bottom of the body where it bottoms out, I don't believe you're going to have the best sustain you can get out of the guitar. So I went and bought a piece of threaded rod at the hardware store. It's the same thread count and size as the brass original there, so that our little stopper fits perfect. And this will allow me to go way deeper, all the way till that hole bottoms out. I'm going to cut this in half, so I'll have 2 pieces. We'll put leave the factory side up for now maybe. And I'll be able to figure out how long that's going to need to be. And I think with this sunk all the way down to the bottom where the hole is, that you're going to get a better sustain through the saddle into the body. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going with it, and it sounds like a good theory to me. So let's get to work. I'm going to cut this in half. So I got the new posts in here, driven all the way down as far as they'll go. They're bottomed out. They're nice and sturdy and stiff. I want to put the saddle back on, and I want to string it up with maybe a scrap string and kind of figure out what my low point is, and that's where I'm going to trim these at. So, did take apart the saddle. It was so filthy, I just took it all apart and lubed it. I've had it sitting in some oil for a couple days. And yeah, it doesn't have the retainer, so that makes things a little tougher. This had a retainer that went right over. So I think if I can get one set up, I think that's good to figure out my height. Here I got an E string, 46. 13 here, which I think would be a B string. But I'm going to put it over here on the high E just so we know where it is. I mean, 13 on an E string isn't unheard of, right? Isn't that what Stevie Ray Vaughan played? Yeah, I'm liking that. Oh, this thing's gonna shred. I do believe it is that time in our program where we can string this thing up. And I'm putting boomers on it, as I do. Yeah, I've liked boomers since as long as I can remember. This is what I've been putting on guitars. So if you don't like it, bring me other strings, but this is what I put on. But they're very playable. Alright, strings are on, intonation is done, feels great, sounds good. I made a couple tweaks on the truss rod so I can put the cover back on. I gave it a little relief, not much. Alright, all the plates are back on, it's all reassembled. Before I go much further, I want to tighten up these tuners. They're real loose when you're turning them. And you want them a little bit tight so that your string's not spinning off. Well, I dig the black guitars so much more than the white guitars. I think that's a Violent Femmes song. Anyway, this thing came out fantastic. It is 53 years old. Just a little older than me, I won't lie. And I think it's going to have many, many more years of service. This neck is way straighter than it was when it got over here, so that's a good thing. I think with regular care, some more tweaking of this neck, at the next string change we'll have a look at it. I think it should be good. This saddle, you know, I'm not really sold on an old saddle. I think a newer one would be better, but it's not my guitar. I think we'd have more range of motion in the intonation and I think it would be more stable overall. It's way more stable now with the new posts, so that's a good thing.
Oh yeah.
What's the difference between this and a modern Les Paul? I know it's
Not
way
really
heavier.
Sure, it's way heavy for
Yeah.
one, certainly. The neck just is very nice. There's a very nice feel to it. Very nice weight. I mean, as heavy as it is, it's
Yeah.
got a nice weight to it. The neck just feels right.
Like if there's a strap on it, it's super balanced.
Yeah.
If you're standing with it.
It plays right.
Yeah.
You definitely saved this one because I know what a train wreck it was.
Is that your volume or
Oh,
mine?
it's me. I'm sorry.
So as I told you, a better, more accomplished guitarist would be a better demo for this guitar. So I got the amazing Jay here, and he's going to play us out. And I want to thank you for watching. Thumbs up so I know you like my content. And we'll talk again soon. Bye for now. Yeah, so man, you can do whatever you want. Like, just wail on that thing like you... That's awesome.
That was awesome.
I should have just lied and said that was me.
Cut the head right off.
Yeah, I didn't film you, so
Dude,
yeah, I
this
could have
thing,
totally done that.
it reminds me of when I get a guitar back from you. It's amazing.
Nice.
This thing is amazing. I gotta tell you.